everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to learn how to make the shirts that you've just seen at the beginning of the video. These are the hat stitch crochet shirts, and for the materials I used this yarn. It's milk cotton, and I used 3 balls of this white yarn. Each ball is 150 yards and 50 grams for each ball. And then I also used this Alize cotton gold. I think I used roughly less than a ball, so just have 1 ball, and each ball is 100 grams and 361 yards. And then you also need a measuring tape, 3.5 millimeter crochet hook, some stitch markers, a darning needle, and yeah, I think that's it. So let's get started. So the measurement that we shall be considering for this project is the hip circumference, and this project is worked in 2 panels, as you'll see within the video. It's worked in 2 panels that are later joined in the middle section all the way from the front onto the back, and it's also worked from bottom all the way up. So since the hat's shape has to be like this, we work all the way from the base of the shirts upwards, and then we work the 2 panels, and then we join them and then attach a waistband, and later on we place a drawstring to make the waistband adjustable. So if you would like the written pattern, it's already available on all my online shops, and you can grab a copy in the description box below. So this project was inspired by our previous project, which is the Valentine's hats crochet tote bag that you can also try out after this video, and we shall also get a matching top for this one. So if you would like to try out some other Valentine's themed crochet projects, I'll be leaving behind a full playlist of projects that you can try out using several hat stitch designs. And yeah, let's jump right into the video. Alright, so using your very first color, as you can see at the base of the shirts, we have that white line. So that's going to be my very first color, and I'm going to make a chain of 103. So this chain should be a multiple of 6 plus 1. The chain itself should be half of your hip circumference, because we are working this piece in 2 panels. So for me, I'm going to start off with 103 chains. So that chain will be half of the hip circumference that I am considering, plus 5 inches for the crotch area. So I'll be recommending a number of chains on the screen so that you can make it for your desired size. Alright guys, so I have my 103 chains, and if I take a measurement across the chain, I have about 20 inches, which is half of the hip circumference that I am considering. But when I stretch it, it goes to about 25 inches. So you can see it's 5 inches more than half of the hip circumference, but make sure you don't overstretch it out. So just give it a slight stretch. It should be about 5 inches, or the number of inches on the screen, depending on the size that you're working with. For me, I'm working for a medium size, so I'll increase by 5 inches. But if you're a smaller size, increase by 4 inches. If you're a bigger size, about 6 to 7 inches, depending on the size that you're making for. So once you get your desired chain, which should be a multiple of 6 plus 1, of which mine is 103 chains, you're going to remove your hook and then place a stitch marker into that loop. So this stitch marker is to prevent the project from unraveling. And as we work this project, as we work this stitch, we place stitch markers because we carry along the yarn so that we don't have so many loose ends at the end of the project. So we keep carrying along the yarn so that we have clean edges, as you'll see later on. So let's go on to row 1. Switch to your next color. For me, that is going to be the red color, or the color of the hearts. So you're going to decide what color you want for the hearts. And then you're going to make a slip knot. And you are going to go into the last chain that you made, not the one with the stitch marker. This last chain here. And you're going to attach your yarn. Then you're going to make a chain of 3, which counts as a double crochet. Into that same chain, you're going to go in there with 2 more double crochets, 1 and 2. That means the very first chain has gotten a total of 3 double crochets. Chain 3, skip 5 chains, 1 2 3 4 5, and into the next chain you're going to place a total of 5 double crochets, 1 2 3 4 and 5. And just like that, we're going to repeat this. Chain 3, skip 5 chains, 1 2 3 4 5, and into the 6th you're going to place your 5 double crochets, 1 2 3 4 and 5. So repeat that all the way across, and I'll meet you back towards the end of the chain. Alright guys, we've come to the end and I have a total of 6 chains left. I will make a chain of 3 and skip over the 5 chains, 1 2 3 4 5, and into that very last chain I'm going to place a total of 3 double crochets. Sorry, the chain is a bit big, but I'm going to try to correct it. A total of 3 double crochets into the very last chain. So this is what you'll have. We're going on to row 2, and at this point you can get another stitch marker and place it into this loop at the end of row 1. And now we're going to go on to where we ended the foundation chain. Remove that stitch marker and then insert your hook into the loop and make a chain of 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then you're going to remove your hook, insert your hook into the top of the first chain 3 of row 1, and then grab that loop, pull through, chain 1, go into the same exact stitch with a single crochet, and then you're going to make a chain of 2. Now we're going to go into the chain that we skipped on the row below, on the foundation chain actually. So remember, we skipped a total of 5 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the middle chain, which should be the 3rd chain, you're going to place an elongated double crochet. So you yarn over, go into the 3rd chain, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. That's an elongated double crochet. Chain 1, elongated double crochet into the same exact chain as the previous elongated double crochet. So that will create some sort of V-stitch. Then you're going to make a chain of 2 and single crochet into the middle stitch of the next 5 double crochets. So into the middle stitch, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all. Chain 2, go into the middle chain of the 5 chains that you skipped. So into the 3rd chain, place an elongated double crochet, chain 1, and elongated double crochet into the same exact chain. So this is what your work will look like. You're going to make a chain of 2 and single crochet into the middle stitch of the next 5 stitches, the 5 double crochets. So you should notice that we are working in the same direction as the previous row. So chain 2, elongated double crochet into the middle chain of the skipped 5 chains, chain 1, elongated double crochet into the same stitch or chain, chain 2, single crochet into the middle stitch of the next 5 stitches. So you're going to repeat that all the way across until towards the end of the row, and I'll show you how to wind up. All right, so I'm coming to the end of row 2, and after a single crochet here, I'm going to make a chain of 2 and go into the middle chain of the 5 chains that were skipped from the foundation chain, and place my elongated double crochet, chain 1, and another elongated double crochet, just like we've been doing. Now you're going to make a chain of 2 and single crochet on top of the last double crochet of the previous row. Just make a single crochet there, and then you're going to place a stitch marker into the loop of the last single crochet. Now you're going to remove the stitch marker of the previous color and then turn your work, and then you're going to insert your hook into the single crochet stitch and grab the loop of the previous color, which should be red, and then make a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, just like that. And then from here you're going to go into this space, the chain 1 space in between the elongated double crochets, and you're going to place a total of 5 double crochets. And then make a chain of 3, 5 double crochets into the chain 1 space between the next 2 elongated double crochets. Chain 3, 5 double crochets into the chain 1 space between the next 2 elongated double crochets, and you're going to repeat that all the way across. Just like that. So you continue to chain 3 and then keep placing 5 double crochets in the chain 1 spaces between the 2 elongated double crochets from the row below. So keep doing this and I'll meet you back towards the end of row 3. Alright guys, now we've come to the end of row 3 and I've just placed my 5 double crochets into the last chain 1 space in between the 2 elongated double crochets. Now you're going to make a chain of 1 and place a double crochet in this last single crochet of the previous row. Place a double crochet there, and then you're going to place your stitch marker into that loop so that it doesn't unravel, and then we're going to go back to this side, remove your stitch marker, and then you're going to make a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This counts as the elongated double crochet, chain 1. So you're going to go into this same space here with an elongated double crochet, just like that, and then you're going to make a chain of 2 and then single crochet in the middle stitch of the next 5 stitches, chain 2, and now we are going to place our elongated double crochets in the chain 2 spaces of the row below this one. So in that white row, you're going to yarn over, go into the chain 2 space, place your elongated double crochet, chain 1, go into the next chain 2 space and place your elongated double crochet, and then make a chain of 2 and single crochet into the middle stitch of the next 5 stitches, chain 2, repeat the same exact process, go into the chain 2 space with an elongated double crochet, chain 1, elongated double crochet into the next chain 2 space, and then make a chain of 2 and single crochet into the middle stitch of the next 5 stitches. So you're going to repeat this all the way across, and I'll meet you back towards the end of the row. Sorry, it's raining outside. So you can see the hearts starting to form, and the pattern will get prettier and prettier as we keep working and as the piece keeps building. Alright guys, we're coming to the end of row 4 and I'm still chaining 2 and placing a single crochet into the middle double crochet of the next 5 stitches. Then you're going to make a chain of 2, go into the chain 2 space here and place an elongated double crochet, chain 1, and then into the single crochet here you're going to go in there with another elongated double crochet. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and that's how we end row 4. At this point you're going to remove your hook and place a stitch marker and leave that row. Now we're going to remove the stitch marker from our previous color. Remove your stitch marker and insert your hook, and then you're going to make a chain of 3 to bring up the row because it was at the base. So you chain 3, remove your hook, and then you're going to go into the chain 1 space here and you're going to pull that loop of the red color. Pull it through the chain 1 space and then make a chain of 3, which counts as our very first double crochet. In the same chain 1 space you're going to place 2 more double crochets to make a total of 3 double crochets, just as we have at row 1. You remember we had 3 stitches at the beginning, so we have 3 double crochets here, chain 3, 5 double crochets in the chain 1 space in between the next 2 elongated double crochets. So I'm placing my 5 double crochets there, chain 3, 5 double crochets into the chain 1 space in between the next 2 elongated double crochets. Alright, so we're going to repeat that all the way across, and I'll meet you back towards the end of row 5. Alright, so we're coming to the end of row 5 and I'm chaining 3, and in between the 2 elongated double crochets, because the first chain 5 counted as an elongated double crochet, into that space you're going to go in there with a total of 3 double crochets to balance what we have at the beginning of the row. Remember, we started the row with 3 double crochets because the chain 3 at the beginning counts as a stitch, as a double crochet stitch. So from here you're going to repeat rows hold on, we are now going to go on to row 6. So you're going to pull up and then insert your stitch marker and then go to your previous color. Remove the stitch marker, insert your hook, and just as we did for row 2 you're going to make a chain of 3 to bring up your yarn. Remove your hook, into the top of the chain 3 of the previous row, insert your hook, pull through that loop of the previous color, chain 1 and single crochet into the same stitch. Remember us doing that at row 2. Now you are going to make a chain of 2 and then go into the chain 2 space 1 row below and place an elongated double crochet, chain 1 and another elongated double crochet in the next chain 2 space, then chain 2 and single crochet in the middle stitch of the next 5 stitches. So I hope you still remember how to do this. Chain 2, go into the chain 2 space here and place an elongated double crochet, chain 1, go into the next chain 2 space and place an elongated double crochet. So after this you're going to make a chain of 2 and single crochet into the middle stitch of the next 5 double crochets. So repeat that all the way to the end, and I'll show you how to wind up, and then I'll also explain the repeat rows from here at the end of this row. So you can see the heart shape starting to form, and it will become more and more visible as we keep working our rows. Alright, so we've come to the end of the row, and after this elongated double crochet you're going to make a chain of 2 and single crochet on top of the last double crochet of the previous row, and that marks the end of row 6. Now we're going to repeat rows 3 to 6 again and again until we have this length, measuring from the base of your shorts up to the crotch. Remember, the hats have to be facing up, so for this pattern we are working these pants or shorts from the base all the way up. Now for me, I'm going to continue, and I'll be letting you know how many inches that I worked, repeating rows 3 to 6 until I got the length that I want. I'll be back in my next clip to let you know how many inches that I did before creating the shaping for the crotch area. So this design can be worked to any length. If you want floor length pants, please go ahead and do that, but for me, mine are going to be a pair of shorts. So just keep repeating rows 3 to 6. So I'll be leaving behind timestamps so that you can follow along easily, but the repeat rows are row 3 to 6. Alright, so I continued repeating rows 3 to 6 until I had a total of 4 inches, because this is the height that I want for my shorts, right from the crotch or where the legs split. This is the extra length that I want for my shorts. If you want yours longer, you're just going to keep repeating rows 3 to 6 until you get your desired length from where your legs split downwards to where you want your shorts to stop. So for me, that is a total of about 4 inches, and this is perfectly fine. And I did a total of 10 rows, and you should end on a row that looks like row 6, the one that starts and ends with a single crochet in the white color So that's where I am right now. Now we're going to start creating our shaping for the crotch. So to do that, your next row is going to resemble row 3. So you just place a stitch marker after placing your single crochet. Place a stitch marker there. We are basically doing the same exact pattern. The only difference is this time we are going to make the rows shorter. So you're going to turn your work and then pick up your previous color, which is the red color. Insert your hook, and then you're going to make a chain of 4. And then you're going to go into the chain 1 space in between the elongated double crochets and place your 5 double crochets, just as you would have done row 3. So you're going to make a chain of 3, 5 double crochets into the next chain 1 space between the 2 elongated double crochets. So the pattern is still the same. The only difference is we are going to make the rows a bit shorter to create that extension for the crotch area. Chain 3, 5 double crochets into the next chain 1 space in between the 2 elongated double crochets, and just like that you're going to repeat that until now. You're going to get your measuring tape. Remember the 4 inches or whatever number of inches that we added at the beginning. Actually, I'm going to just dictate the number of hearts to leave out. Now you're going to count from this side towards the end of this row. Just go to this side and count the full hearts. You're going to count 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and into that 4th one in the single crochet you're going to place a stitch marker. Now this is going to vary depending on the different sizes. For the bigger sizes you're going to count 5 hearts, but for the smaller sizes you're going to count 4 hearts, 4 full hearts, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and mark this. For the bigger sizes you can consider either 5 or 6, but I recommend this so that this is not so long in between the legs. All right, so I left out about 5 inches for the extension, but for the larger sizes you're going to consider 7 inches. You leave out a total of about 7 inches, so that means you will create the short rows from somewhere around here. So after placing your stitch marker here, you are going to continue with your pattern. Chain 3, 5 double crochets into the next chain 1 space. Repeat that until you get towards your stitch marker, and I'll show you what to do next. All right, so we're coming towards the stitch with the stitch marker. So I'm still chaining 3, and then 5 double crochets in the chain 1 space, the last chain 1 space between the elongated double crochets before the stitch marker that we just placed. All right, so this is what we have, and then we have our stitch marker here. You're going to remove it, and then you're going to make a chain of 1 and double crochet into that single crochet that had the stitch marker, and then place your stitch marker into that loop. So this is where we're going to end our row from now on, and this row, remember, resembles row 3. That means the next row resembles row 4. The only difference is now the rows are going to stop at this point, here, from the beginning all the way here. So that means for the next row, which is, for my case, I'm at row, this should be row 11, so row 12. My row 12 will resemble row 4. So you just look down and see what you did for row 4 and do the same exact thing. So nothing changes, the only difference is the length of the rows gets shorter at this point. But other than that, you're going to just follow through the pattern. Now, at this point, you're going to consider the length from your crotch all the way to your upper waistline. But you're going to leave a few inches in order to cater for the waistband. So from your crotch all the way up to your waistline minus about like 1.5 to 2 inches. So as you can see, I have a panel that's finished here. You can see that extension that I left out. So I went all the way up and I did a total of, let me count them on screen as you see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. I did a total of 18 rows after making the rows shorter. So this is what your work will look like. On one side, you have a flat edge, and then on the opposite side, you have an extension. That's what we are aiming for. So right now I'm working my second panel, as you can see here, and I want the same exact look as this. So this is giving us the bigger picture of what things should look like. So go ahead and work as many rows to create the coverage that you want, because from your crotch all the way to the waistline may be a bit different from another person. So I'll be recommending a number of rows to make in my next clip, but if you're making it for yourself, please feel free to keep trying it on in order to get this distance right, where your legs split all the way up to the waistline minus about 1 to 2 inches to cater for the waistband of the shirts. And then I'll meet you back when I have my panel ready. I went on to repeat my rows until I had a total of 7 inches, and this is for a size medium. For size extra small, consider 6 inches, medium about 7 inches, and then large 8, and then extra large 2XL, consider 9 inches. So I'll be leaving all the details on the screen, and this is what you'll have. This is what your panel should look like. After your last row, you're going to make a chain of 1, and you should end your row on a row that looks like row 4, sorry, this one, the one that starts with the elongated double crochets and ends with the elongated double crochets. So end on a row that looks like row 4, and then make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn, and you're going to repeat the same exact process for your second panel. As you can see, we have 2 identical panels. This is what we have. And now you're going to make sure that the extensions are facing each other like this. Then you're going to fold your work into half, your panel into half. Okay, so I hope this is a better view. You're going to make sure the extensions are facing each other, and then you're going to fold your panels into half, just like this, and also fold the extension towards the back. Do the same exact thing for this one. Fold it into half, and then fold the extension into half, just like that. Now when it comes to the back side, you're going to have this. This is what you're going to have at the back. We are going to join this area here. And we also have it here as well. So, all right, so you're going to get your darning needle and your white color or red color, depending on the color that you've chosen to join with. And we're going to attach row to row. So you can go into each and every space with maybe 2 stitches. All right, so we've joined our rows all the way from here down this side, and this is what we have. We shall weave in our tails later on, but for now this is what we have. And you're going to repeat the same exact process for the opposite panel. So once you're done with this, you're going to turn it to the right side. This will be the front side of our shorts, and then you're going to do the same exact thing for the second panel. You just join the rows together. All right, so this is what we have, and then you're going to turn your work to the right side of the panel, just like this. And then we're going to go ahead and join row to row all the way from the front side to the extension. So we are literally going to join these parts together to the extension onto the back side. The back side, which is this side with this same line, we shall also join this area here. So let's go back to the front side and start joining our panels. All right, so we're going to start from the very first row or the top row. And move all the way down to the extensions, just like we've done for the other side. So we've reached the extension, and we're just going to align our stitches and join them. Go into each chain one space and into each stitch of the extension. So we are done with the extension here, and we've made it all the way to the back side of our shirts. So let's see what we have for now. The front side has been joined together, as you can see here. Now we've turned our work onto the back side, and we're going to continue joining the same exact way that we've done the front side. And we join this opening all the way to the top. All right, so we've made it to the top, and I'll join the very last stitch, which should be the top of the chain 3. Then you can remove your darning needle, and this is what we are going to have. Now we're going to go ahead and clean up the top edge of our shirts. You can first go ahead and get rid of all the loose ends, either by tying knots or by using a darning needle, so that we have a clean edge to work with when we are cleaning up the waistband. Okay, we are now going to clean up the waistband. We're going to attach our yarn in any stitch. I'm going to just continue with this strand. And you're going to go into each chain 1 space with 1 single crochet, and each stitch with 1 single crochet, and each chain 2 space with 2 single crochets. So each chain 2 space you place 2 single crochets, each stitch you place 1 single crochet, each chain 1 space you place 1 single crochet, and you're going to repeat that all the way around. This is going to create a single crochet row around the opening of the shirts. Actually, in order to bring in the waistband a little bit, instead of placing 2 single crochets in each chain 2 space, you will place only 1 single crochet in each chain 2 space. Everything else remains the same, but when it comes to the chain 2 spaces, you only place 1 single crochet. So 1 single crochet in each stitch and 1 single crochet in each chain space. Doesn't matter whether it's a chain 1 or a chain 2, you only place 1 single crochet there. This will gather our shirts a little bit before we place the waistband on top. So you can see that it's kind of looking gathered. We want to bring in this a little bit to create a better fitting for our shirts. So we've made it all the way around, placing single crochet stitches. So this is the single crochet round that cleans up the upper edge of the shirts. Once you get to the end, you will place a slip stitch into the very first single crochet of the round, and this is what you're going to have. You can see the circumference of the shirts is kind of trimmed. It has brought it in a little bit. So we're now going to start working on the waistband. To start on the waistband, you're going to make a chain of 10, and then we're going to go into the second chain from the hook and place a single crochet, and then single crochet all the way down to the body of the shorts. You will have a total of 9 single crochets for row 1. So when you get to the end, you're going to place a single crochet into the last chain. Alright, so after row 1, you're going to slip stitch in each of the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. And then you turn your work, skip over the slip stitches that you just made, skip over them, and then single crochet back loop only in each of the 9 stitches of the waistband. We're going into the back loop only so that we can create a ribbed effect. And then this is row 2. Now row 3, you're going to make a chain of 1 and turn your work, and single crochet back loop only in each of the 9 stitches. And then slip stitch in each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. This is going to gather the circumference of the shorts, as you'll see later on. Skip over the slip stitches and single crochet in each of the 9 single crochets from the previous row. So we are just going to repeat rows 2 and 3 again and again until we make it around the circumference of the shorts. So after a few rows of the waistband, this is what you're going to have, and you can see how it's kind of gathering the circumference of the top opening of the shorts. So go all the way around and I'll meet you back at this point. Okay guys, so I've gone all the way around the circumference of the shorts, and you can see how the very wide opening has kind of gathered up. Now I'm continuing with the same exact pattern. To close up this opening entirely. So I have only 2 stitches left. I'll slip stitch into them, and then maybe slip stitch where the chain comes from, and then turn my work and single crochet back loop only in each of the 9 single crochets from the previous row. Okay, so you're going to make a chain of 1, and then you're going to cut your yarn, leaving behind a tail that's going to attach this opening to the foundation chain. So you're going to get your darning needle and go into every stitch, attaching it to the stitch on the opposite side to get rid of this opening. So we are joining the ribbing together. All right, so after joining that, you're going to weave in this tail. At the back of the shorts. And then we're going to create a drawstring. This is optional. If you feel like this stretch of the ribbing is enough for you, then you don't need the drawstring. If you feel like the waistband or the waistband circumference is a bit big for you, then you can use a drawstring and put it through the waistband in order to make it adjustable to your own liking. If you have an elastic strand, please make use of it, but for me, I'm going to be using a drawstring. So you're going to get your yarn, the same yarn as the waistband, and you're going to make a slip knot. So just make a simple chain. Alright guys, now I've made a chain of 250. Now using your darning needle, you're going to get the tail of the chain, and then alright, so we're going to go in and out of every 2 rows of the waistband. So we have, make sure you're on the front side of your shorts, and we're going to locate the exact middle front, and we're going to go in and out of every 2 rows of our waistband. You can see exactly what I'm doing. So go all the way around until you come back to the beginning or the front of the shorts. So in and out of every 2 rows. So this is what the drawstring will look like. So go all the way around and I'll meet you back at this point. So when you make it all the way around, you can now remove your darning needle, and this is going to make the waistband adjustable, as you can see here. So at this point you can tie a knot at the front of the shorts, and that's basically it. Let's see the final look of our shorts, and if you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure you give it a thumbs up and don't forget to check out the written pattern on all my online shops. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.